I'm Luke Wilson. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
I'm Ben Stoll from Cumberland, Maryland.
I'm Jonathan DeMonch from Long Island, New York.
I'm Matt Preble. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm Tim from Roanoke, Virginia.
I'm John. I'm from Tampa, Florida.
I'm Dan. I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia.
I'm Peter from northern Minnesota, Balsam. So I would say, it's dressing and acting in such a way that encourages our brothers, and then for us as guys, you guys, our sisters in Christ, just draw closer to God.
I think modesty is, like you said, it's a hard issue. It's a behavior and a way you dress. It's a way you dress that doesn't fuel things that would cause your brothers to stumble.
I think one important aspect about modesty in definition is really that it applies to every person, not just to females, but it's really a state of humbleness in the way that a person acts in speech, in dress, and in their walk with God in general.
I'm with John here. I think it's a demonstration of humility. I think modesty is very much basically just a refusal to show off. You're refusing to show off out of a love for your neighbor and out of love for God.
I think it's just the way you conduct yourself and the way you carry yourself, ultimately. It's an outward reflection of your inward character.
Yeah, definitely it's not seeking attention on yourself, along with the humility.
Paul talks about becoming all things for all people. I think that's a part of it, knowing how to blend in, but at the same time still standing out and not being a part of this world.
I think that modesty kind of has somewhat of a negative connotation to it, that modesty is a bad thing, or that you can't dress attractively or the way that you want to and still be modest. But I think that's kind of a misconception. I think that you can definitely, modesty is a hard issue, as has been discussed, but I think that there are some definitely good things that can come from dressing modestly, and it's not as hard as you think.
We're going to skip over the next question because they basically answered it. We just defined it as it's not just about dress, it's both. It's a way you dress and it's a behavior. So next we're going to move to the third question, which I feel like this is one of the biggest issues with modesty. Okay, what is your response to a girl saying that it doesn't matter what I'm wearing? It's a guy's responsibility not to think sexual thoughts.
I think, again, just really being mindful of the way God's created us. We're all designed uniquely, and guys are designed. God made us very visual. And God made women to really have that need to be affirmed and to be called beautiful and have that desire. And so, in a sense, it kind of complements each other, but we just have to be careful. Just like everything is a good thing in and of itself, it can either turn bad or turn good. And so, with this, with modesty and just dressing appropriately, I think the big thing is to really just consider how our brother is wired and just really trying to adjust to that. We don't want to say things and without disregard for how it affects you guys. And we want to be mindful of how to protect you guys, how to treat you guys properly. In the same way, in a sense, we need to have that, follow the first of the two commands that Christ gave us. First of all is love Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And second is love your neighbor as yourself. And so if we're loving other people, if we're loving our brother in Christ as we love ourselves, then that's going to take care of all that. We're going to want to help them.
I would say two things, first of all. First of all, yes, it is our responsibility. That's placed purely on us to not look lustfully upon one. Like Job 31:1 says, I've made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully upon a woman. That's a covenant between Job as himself and his eyes, completely independent of the woman. Second, what I would say to that is I would echo Peter. I would say that's a selfish thought on the part of the female. It's an act of love for your brother to dress modestly for him because he struggles with that. We're visual. We don't struggle in the same way that you would. So it's an act of love to take that into account and care for us in that way that you would dress as to help us.
Yeah, I'd agree with what both of them said. One thing I'd like to point out is that, like we were talking about before, modesty really is a hard issue, and it's an issue of humility. And so even if it's our responsibility, which it is, to keep our eyes pure, that doesn't mean that you are free from the responsibility to keep your heart pure of pride. And honestly, sometimes I'll talk to girls and they'll say, I just wear what's comfortable, it's your responsibility not to look. But honestly, jeans that are that tight can't be that comfortable, to be honest. So it really is in your way of responsibility to keep your heart right with God. And modesty is a way of showing that you are respectful to your brother as well.
I agree. You're right. It is the man's responsibility to keep his mind pure and focused on the Lord. But I'll also say that by asking a question like this, if you guys are asking this yourselves, in a way you're shirking responsibility and putting it on the men. Even though it is our responsibility, there are still things that you have control over. And the way you guys dress, you have power over our minds. You have power and influence over what we think. And so instead of putting the responsibility on us and the attention back on us, focus on what you do have control over. And I would encourage you all to be mindful of how guys think and how they're wired, because I'm sure many of you know how men are wired and how they think. And in that way, the way you dress, if it's immodest, in a way that's flowing out of a heart that wants to show off. And that tells me a lot about yourself. That tells me that you care less about the church and service for your brothers and more about self-indulgence and pride.
All right, I'll have you guys answer the next question. Okay, the next question we have is, what is your response to the saying that to be loved, a woman must be beautiful, sensual as a sexy, and alluring? And you guys can answer on that side.
Oh, so I get this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that this one's kind of a difficult question, but I mean, there's like the phrase that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I think that it doesn't sound really cliche, but